Picture this. It's Saturday morning. You've carved out a rare 2-hour window with no rounds, no emails, and no pages. You settle into your favorite armchair with a warm cup of coffee, and immediately that familiar whisper kicks in. You should be doing more. As a physician mom, your default may be full throttle. Even when life pauses, your mind races ahead, checking boxes or planning next steps. Sound familiar? Today's episode is about learning how to downshift without guilt and still feel satisfied. I'll guide you through rewriting your personal rulebook so you can downshift without guilt. You'll learn to silence that not enough voice and root yourself in the present moment. I also give practical tips to truly savor the rest that you've earned. For the full transcript plus bonus resources, head to inspiredmommds.com/68. You're listening to the Inspired Mom MDs podcast. I'm your host, Dr. Cindy Van Prague. I help physician moms take back control of their time and energy so they can prioritize what matters most and thrive at work and at home. Hi, all. Now, let me tell you a story about my hotel room breakthrough. Okay, picture this. I'm sitting in a hotel room. My chair is swiveled to face this large picture window. And even though it's a hot June day outside, I have a hard time reconciling the snow that I see on these distant mountaintops. I have an even harder time reconciling that I'm sitting inside writing when I should be out at a park or taking an easy hike or visiting local shops. After all, I'm visiting a new town in Colorado. Today is Monday, and I have the day to myself as my son stays overnight at a college orientation. On a typical Monday at home, I'd be at my desk working, so I felt obligated not to miss a beat even though away from home. But there's another part of me that says, hey, life is short. You have a chance to make a day for yourself. I'm not sure why this is hard. After all, I'm used to being on the go with packed vacation day plans when I'm with my family. And if they were here, we'd be on a trail right now. I'm learning that I write the rule book and that the unsolicited urging to get work done makes no sense. It's time to downshift my expectations again. And it's a constant decision that I need to make. And it's not at all natural yet. I'm still reprogramming myself from the decades of running at 110%. So as I sat in that hotel room, I came to a compromise. And considering all of my options, I did have 45 minutes to sit there, sip coffee, and write. In fact, that brings me joy. And it would save my future self, a few days from then, the stress of trying to get things done. I realized my goal is to live my days savoring the moments that refresh me and silence the thoughts that tell me I should be doing more. So after those 45 minutes of writing with my feet up, I headed over to a popular street market and perused all those tea shops for my next favorite blend to take home to my husband, where we could savor a fresh brewed cup together. Now, I share a common problem with other physician moms, that ingrained operating system that makes us run at 110% even on our days off. There's this internal script that says things like, I should be working. I shouldn't waste this time. I should be making the most of this moment. And that's exactly what I was experiencing in that hotel room. I had time alone in this beautiful place, yet I still felt torn between rest and pampering myself and responsibilities. I only recognized this disconnect because I was thinking about a friend's response to my short trip. She said, "That's wonderful. You get to relax and pamper yourself." And in typical high achiever fashion, I corrected her and I said, well, I have a chance to get some work done. And it was her response then that stuck with me. Or rather, it was a change in her tone of voice with like this mild disappointment for me. It made me pause and consider, am I wrong to feel this way? And then I brushed it off, only to have the same thought again as I stared at those mountains. And I thought, well, why can't I let myself just take the whole day off and pamper myself? And I realized I justified work here as a joyful activity, writing. Where was this guilt all coming from? I think it was guilt over not being productive. You see, I was confusing my free time with a pressure to maximize every moment. I also had this fear of missing out on my chance to explore a new city on my own terms, and maybe even a fear of having that disappointment again in my friend's voice when I got home and told her about my trip. My self taught lesson was to learn that I write the rule book, or I should say, rewrite the rule book or update it. This requires a mindset shift away from the decades of training and towards what matters most today. It means setting new expectations for yourself that you can live with. It's doing away with obligations to other people's expectations and opinions. You can do this. You first have to give yourself permission, though. Then the real growth can happen. You can recenter your mindset on the now. Consider these questions. What would bring me joy right now? How would that lighten my mental load? And am I making choices out of fear, like fear of missing out or guilt? That day, part of me wanted to go find a park, but I knew what would bring me joy right then was actually leaning back in a chair, sipping coffee, and enjoying the silence while I wrote. It's like I created a happy bubble in that moment, and I savored it. I also knew that getting even just 45 minutes of writing done would greatly lighten my mental load of having more to do than I had time for. And as my response to that last question about whether I was making a choice out of fear and guilt, no, I was now making a choice on my new revised rule book. And that felt really good. So, what are some practical shifts to help you downshift? It may help to compartmentalize your time by scheduling in free time. And this is a time with no to-do list and just space to be and explore. This is something that helps me tremendously. I'm more apt to focus in on those short periods of work, knowing there's an endpoint and a reward time just to be. Now, when you start your work period, be sure to name your enough. It's like setting a minimum bar of achievement. When will you know you're done? Plan that before you start working, lest you get caught up on that slippery slope of needing to do just a little bit more to feel satisfied. And allow yourself mini compromises. It's okay to do a little of both work and fun. And if that's what your personal rulebook says, do it. Be kind to your future self, too. This can help you guide your decisions for the present moment. I found joy in knowing I would make life easier for myself 3 days in the future. And as I finished the episode later that week, I thanked my past self. Now, my closing thoughts today are with a little conscious effort. I actively edit my own rulebook, sometimes daily. And when those feelings of guilt pop up or a friend's reaction stops me in my tracks, I listen. Because that is the moment of potential growth, clarity, and change. Downshifting does not mean disengaging. It means choosing what fills you up instead of what's draining you. When you base your decisions on what matters most in your life, you won't be disappointed. And when you pick activities that ease your mental load, you're gifting your future self with peace. I'm happy to say that the rest of that day in the mountains was so much fun. I found a bookstore with a tea shop and a little backyard garden, and I could sip their house special, which was a matcha blend with my own little teapot. And I fully relaxed into the day, having gifted myself free, unstructured time, and it was blissful. Don't forget to join me next week for another dose of support and inspiration. And until then, take care of yourselves and take care of those who matter most. It's time to take control and thrive. Thank you so much for tuning in today to Inspired Mom MDs. If this episode resonates with you, please share with a friend who may benefit too. And I humbly ask to please leave a review so other Dr. Moms can find me too. And just a quick reminder, this podcast is for informational and educational purposes only and isn't a substitute for medical advice or care. I'm a board-certified physician, but this content isn't connected to my clinical practice and no doctor-patient relationship is formed here. Please always talk to your own health professional about any mental or physical health concerns. Please see inspiredmommds.com for full disclaimer.